What's happening, everyone? My name's Anton, owner of VAG Recycle, and today I'm back with another video. And as you've probably seen from the title, I have just bought a 500 brake fully forged R32 engine. So stay tuned and we'll get into that a bit more after this. So, where do I even start? Let's start from the start. I got a message on Instagram from a very good friend who has started breaking R32s on the side. Sent me these pictures of this blue R32, said it's 500 brake horsepower. Obviously straight away I'm interested. And basically he was just asking me what I thought the engine was worth. Told me it was supercharged. I personally have never ever had a supercharged R32. I've never had a supercharged car actually. So yeah, we're going through, he's telling me the details of the car, the engine and stuff like that, and just said, oh, basically, what do you think it's worth? I had no idea. Personally, I'm a turbo man, so I think that I've only heard a few superchargers and they all sound like the gearbox is going. It sounds like it's whining its tits off, and just, yeah, no real interest to me. But like I said, 500 brake horsepower, I'm thinking, first of all, I tell a lie. First of all, when he said 500 brake horsepower, I saw the car had the standard R32 intake. So I thought you couldn't go to that much power using those. So straight away, I'm thinking it's not even 500 brake horsepower. It's got a supercharger on it. Sent me some pictures, had like a little intercooler on it and stuff like that. And I was thinking, oh, you know, I don't know. So yeah, we're talking anyway, and then he sends me the description of what's on the engine. So I start Googling, he said it had a supercharged, it had a Rotex, I don't know how you say it, C3A92. So straight away I'm on Google looking, found the website, and then it tells me it can go up to 650 brake horsepower. So then I'm thinking, oh well, you know, I got my dog with me, and I've got a very clean interior. I don't know if you can see at the back there, and I'm just hoping that he's not going to go in there, sit on it, wee on it or anything. So where was I? So anyway, yeah, started looking at, asking people saying, yeah, these superchargers do big power, and the intake, you know, depending on PSI, you can take that to a higher brake horsepower than I even thought you could. So anyway, it wasn't something that I was interested in because I had already agreed to buy a different engine. So my dog's decided to pick up a rock. Leave it alone. Move. Leave. Ugh. Tell you what, dogs are worse than kids. Anyway, so where was I? So yeah, like I said, the intake, turns out you can do big brake horsepower on that. The supercharger apparently is good for 650 brake horsepower. So yeah, like I said, but yeah, at this stage I'm not even interested anyway because I had already agreed to buy a different engine of somebody else. So yeah, he sent me the description and I'm going through it, and then I see forged rods and forged pistons. Now, if you're familiar with the R32 engine, to be fair, they don't really need it, but when you do need it, it's quite an expensive job. Parts are not like overly expensive, but you know, to find someone that can do it, get it all timed up again, obviously you're going to do the chains, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. So it's just future-proofing the engine basically. You know, the R32 engine, all it needs is a head spacer, and that'll see you doing like 500, maybe even 600 brake horsepower anyway. So, but anyway, the engine that I agreed to buy originally with this other chap was an R36 engine. Now, I already had an R36 engine, but this one was turboed. So, as you can imagine, R36 turbo, that was the plan. And I think I said in my last video, I had very big plans for my red R32, so that was the plan. Now, me and this lad start talking, the one with the supercharger, and he's like, you know, how much do you think it's worth? We both come to like an agreement of what it's worth. And then a few hours sat there thinking, and I was like, just messaged him like, what do you want for it? And he told me the price, and the price was good. The price was really good. It wasn't a bargain, but it was a really good price. And I was getting a full engine, fully forged, supercharger, and it was coming in a shell as well. Genuine R32 shell. And I was pretty much paying the same price that I would have been paying for this other engine, the R36 turbo. And that engine was just the engine with a bit of wiring and the turbo. It still needed a gearbox, clutch, because it's an R36, it's not a direct fit. You've got to mess about with the fueling, and it was just something that I wasn't familiar with. And the R36 engine wasn't running big power, even though it was turbo, because it's direct injection. You know, you've got to mess about with the fuel pump. And basically I looked into it, and it was quite, what's the word, out of my depth, let's say. But anyway, like I said, I was going to buy that, but me and this other guy got talking, and yeah, he told me a price. It was way too hard to turn down. So, you know, something that I never ever do, I've had to go back to the original guy with the R36 engine and say, look, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to buy, something else has come up that's just too good to turn down. And I don't think he was very happy, because he's not replied till this day. And it is someone that I know, and I've met and I spoke to him. So, you know, he might be feeling a bit of a way over that. And if you're watching, I do apologise. You know me, that is not something I normally do, but this was too good to turn down. And to be fair, if he is feeling a bit salty about it, I'm not even bothered, because what I've picked up over that is just way better. So anyway, like I said, I'm not one to do that, but it was just it was too good to turn down. Way too good to turn down. I got a full engine, fully forged, genuine R32, low mileage, and I got the shell. You know, it was a no-brainer. For less than I was going to pay for the other engine. It was just an engine, turbo. But anyway, that's not even why we're here anyway. So, onto the car. I can't remember the full description, but I've got a folder full of receipts, invoices for everything that's been done to it. It's this one behind me, by the way. Yeah, so it was originally built by the firm, who I wasn't even familiar with, but I had a bit of a look, and it turns out they're pretty much one of the go-to people for conversions with the R32. It seems like they've been running for years and years and years, way before I even got into the R32. So, you know, it's been built by a good company, all the invoices are there, and yeah, I hadn't planned on moving this fast with this car, but pretty much now what I'm hoping to do is drop this engine and pretty much just roll it into my red shell. You know, I've got the ECU, I've got the clocks, I've got everything. It's all running. I actually, you know, I've drove it into my unit. There's no brakes. I mean, the guy that I got it off, I started stripping it down. So it's got no interior. My dog's crazy. It's got no interior, no bumpers, no lights, nothing like that. I pretty much just got the running gear, suspension, and yeah, that's how it's come, and the exhaust. So yeah, the plan is literally to drop it and just roll it into my red R32, and then fingers crossed, within like the next few weeks, my red R32 will be back on the road. And if you're wondering which red R32 I'm talking about, I think I spoke about it in a previous video, but it's this one. Not to be confused with the other red R32 that I actually gave away on my competition site for £25. So a little bit about this red R32 just quickly. I bought this back in March, I think it was, from a guy down in London. Genuine red R32, really low mileage. It's done 76,000. I think I said 74 before, but it's actually 76, just over. And it came with like a load of goodies. It came with a nice set of wheels, 2 sets of wheels actually. It came with a HPA controller for the Haldex, you know, to switch it between 50/50 and all that stuff. Came on air ride, it's got a full AccuAir ride setup. The only thing with it is that it had loads of money spent on it, but it was tatty. Like, let's have a look. The engine's out because 76,000 miles, but the chains needed doing. But look, you can kind of see from how dirty it is in there that I don't want to say it wasn't looked after, because like I said, a lot of money was spent on it, but I think the money was spent perhaps in the wrong places. Like, you know, the wheels that I got with it were like 3.5 grand, and then the other set were like 2.5 grand, and then AccuAir. It's been painted previously as well in the original colour. It is originally red. Very, very poorly. I don't know who did it, but like it's bad anyway. It looks good in pictures, but the plan was to basically restore the car. I pulled the engine out to get the chains done, and then I was going to basically redo it all. New bolts everywhere underneath, poly bush, sorry, all that. But I ended up taking the engine out, and it's just sat there, basically sat there for most of the year. Basically because I've been focusing on the single turbo / twin turbo shell. So yeah, so the plan is now to take this engine out and put it in here, get it up and running, probably use it through the winter, and then perhaps have it resprayed going into next year, which sounds like it's far away, but it's what, like 2 months away. So so yeah, that's the plan. And the reason for the video is this car's up, well, it's up, I keep saying up and running. The car's running, and obviously I'm going to strip it down further. So I thought what I'd do is I'd document it and talk a little bit about how I break them, and just show maybe like a little time lapse of me taking the engine out, maybe putting it into the other car, stuff like that. Just, you know, just showing you a little bit about what I do. And that's the whole purpose in this YouTube channel. This is the reason I started it, is to document the builds that I'm doing, and some of the cars that I'm getting in. Another thing that's happened this week is, if we walk back here, I've actually brought back one of my old interiors, actually from the same guy, as well. So I got this interior originally, like I think it was earlier this year. It might have been last year actually, because I think it was, yeah, I think it was last year. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was last year, summertime. Came in a car that I was breaking, sold it straight away because I never had a car to put it in that I thought was worthy of that interior. Yeah, sold it. Then that guy sold it to someone else, and then I saw it came up for sale again, and I thought, you know what, I'll buy it back. So I bought it back, fitted it to this shell here, the one that I've been documenting about, and the guy that I've just bought this R32 forged R32 off, he made me an offer that I couldn't refuse, and then it went. So yeah, while I was getting this car picked up, he said, you know, do you want to buy this back? And again, a price that I couldn't turn down. I had no interest in buying it. I had already had seats for this car. So yeah, anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd show you that anyway. But yeah, it's a really nice kit. I can't remember who retrimmed it. Actually, it does say on the LG trimmers. I've done it, and it's like the front seats, rear seats, parcel shelf, door cards, armrest, and the gear gaiter. So the only thing that hasn't been done that I want to get done is the handbrake cover, and I'd probably get the steering wheel done as well, or some sort of steering wheel to match it. So yeah, the plan for that is probably just put it back in this shell that I actually bought it for last time. So yeah, this week's been a bit crazy really. I was meant to have moved out my other unit like the other month, and I'm still in that, so I'm still paying rent for that. So I'm trying my hardest to get everything out of that unit. But and now obviously I've taken on this car, and the plan is to get the engine out as quick as possible because I want the shell gone. I have already got a buyer for it. And I was a little bit tempted to rebuild the car. But, well, I want to put it in a red one. Red, blue. Blue is the best colour, don't get me wrong. I personally think the blue R32 is the best one. And I am on the hunt. Well, not on the hunt. I am on the lookout for a perfect blue one to keep and put in the garage. Just to enjoy now and again. So yeah, I was a little bit tempted to rebuild this, but it's got a tiny bit of damage on the rear quarter. It's previously had a roll cage in it, so that's been cut out. And yeah, I mean, there's plenty of blue ones around and there's only 44 red ones. So, you know, I didn't want to take on another project because at this moment I've got a supercharged R32, a single turboed R32, I've got an NA R32 in front of me, up there, and that I'm actually giving away, and a twin turbo R32, so taking on another one was just a bit of a headache. Dogs. He's just ready to cause trouble. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna stop talking because it's been like 15 minutes and I was hoping this video was gonna be like 20 minutes. And yeah, I'm gonna make a start on stripping down this car. I'm hoping the video turns out good because I've only got one battery for this camera and I'm gonna switch to my GoPro and film the process of taking this car apart. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, let's go and do that. Right, so before I start stripping it, I thought I'd do a little sound check. Like I said, the car does start and run at the minute. All the engine parts are all intact, all the radiator and everything's still on. So it has been warmed up before anyone wants to comment saying, "Are you revving it?" and it's not been warmed up. So yeah, let's have a little sound check before I strip it apart. So hopefully you heard that. Obviously it still sounds like an R32, where when you've got a turbo, kind of takes away a little bit of that R32 sound. This has actually got a Miltech D-cat and a Miltech catback. Not the greatest of exhausts, but they sound amazing, to be fair. So yeah, so that's going to be the last startup in this car, and I'm going to set about stripping this car now and talking a little bit about what I do. Hopefully the GoPro plays ball. If not, the next time you see me, the engine's just going to be out on the floor. But anyway, let's get into that next. Right, hopefully you can hear me and see me okay. This is the first time that I'm using this GoPro microphone setup, and I've had to literally bodge a stand with some cable ties to keep the camera there. No doubt my dog will be along in a minute to knock it over. But yeah, so obviously, as I was saying, I'm going to get into breaking this car in a minute. Well, breaking it down further. Obviously it's partly stripped already, so there's a few things that I'm not going to be showing you. I am going to try and keep the talking to a minimal, mainly because I like to put my music on, and obviously for copyright reasons I can't play the music over. I don't want to keep stopping it and coming back to the camera. So what I'll do is I'll quickly talk through what I do, how I break them. How I do things is going to differ to how everybody else does it. Like I've said in my previous videos, I am not a mechanic. I've literally learned how to brake these cars from YouTube, Facebook, just asking questions and just learning mistakes. You know, I've broke so many parts, taken them off before I learned, oh, actually, this is how you take it off. So what I like to do, I mean, it depends what I'm doing with the car as well. So if I'm keeping the car, obviously the way that I take the engine out and the way that I take bolts off and stuff like that is going to be different. I mean, if the car's just going for scrap, you know, I'm going to get the grinder out and loads of things are getting cut. Especially if it's parts that I'm not selling, and especially if it's like a cheap car. But with the Mark IV platform, obviously they are the cars that pretty much I only break, or did break or whatever, or the platform that I do mess about with. So this is going to relate to the Mark IV. So how I like to start is, if you've got a car like how I've got here, the bumper's off, the headlights are off. Well, that's pretty much it for the front end, and it's the front end that I'm going to be concentrating on, obviously, because I want the engine out. What I like to do is I get it up on axle stands. No, tell you what, before I get it up on axle stands, what I like to do is undo or loosen all of the wheel bolts, because there's nothing worse than jacking the car up, getting the impact gun on it and realising that the wheel bolts are like stuck in. What I like to do as well is I take the drive shaft bolt out as well, or loosen that, sorry. So take it out, loosen it, whatever, and then I get up on axle stands. From there, assuming that the bumper's already off and stuff like that, what I do is I'll drain the fluids. Before I even start on that, I'd make sure the aircon was empty. If it wasn't empty, I'd go and get it emptied, or yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure the aircon's empty once it's jacked up. No, confusing myself now. So the aircon I get emptied, and then I do what I'd mentioned before. So yeah, jacked up on axle stand, the aircon's empty. I'd set about getting rid of the coolant, so I'd drain that. The power steering fluid, I'd drain that out, and then I'd start about taking the slam panel off. Sorry, my legs are hurting, I was going to sit down. Hopefully you can still see me. So yeah, so I'd drain the fluids, take the slam panel off, but I'd leave the radiator hanging there while it's draining. What else would I do? Once the fluids are drained, or while the fluids are draining, to be honest, I will set about taking the subframe off. So that's how I work. I like to drop the engines. I used to crane them out before, but now what I tend to do is I undo everything underneath. So the subframe, the wishbones, and the power steering rack and stuff like that. Obviously, I'd set about undoing all that. Obviously, you take the wheels off as well. I thought that'd be quite obvious, but yeah, you're going to take the wheels off, and then I work from underneath. So yeah, like I said, I take the subframe off, take the wishbone arms off, and that just makes it easier to get to the downpipes and the cats, because the downpipe and the manifold on an R32 is a pain in the arse to get to. So yeah, so I take all that off. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go and do all that because I can't even think while I'm talking. And then obviously once I've done that, I'll probably come back to the camera and talk a bit more about what I'm going to do. Or I might even just get on with it because I've got a busy day today. Got someone coming in to finish off mezzanine at the back and stuff like that. So like I said previously, I do want to get this shell out of here as quick as possible, but yeah, I will try and stop in between, or I might even talk over the video or put some writing in or something. Or I might not put anything in, and then you can ask me a question in the comments. So yeah, I'm going to set about doing what I've said. Obviously this one's supercharged, so it's got intercooler pipe works, which obviously you wouldn't have on a standard R32. So I'll probably disconnect all that and stuff. I'm not really sure how the supercharger is set up. Never had one before, so you know, I'm going to be learning as we go along as well, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I don't break anything. So yeah, let's get into that anyway, and yeah, let's go and do that.
Westion Productions.
Right, so normally I drain the coolant here, but from the supercharger there's a pipe running all underneath the radiator, which means I can't get to the hose for the radiator where I'd normally drain it. So if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm actually trying to look for a way to undo this pipe. What I'm thinking is I might just have to remove the slam panel, because the pipe for the supercharger, which I think is for the air filter, is all attached. So I'm probably just going to undo the slam panel and put it away with that pipe. But yeah. Right, so obviously we've got to the point now where I'm draining the fluid. Right now it's just a coolant fluid, and then once that dies down, I'll move over to the power steering fluid. Obviously, the way that I've removed everything is going to be different to if you're doing like an original R32. You're not going to have all that pipe work underneath the slam panel and stuff. So obviously, as you probably saw, I was struggling a little bit to work out what was going where, and normally I take pictures just to make sure that I put it all back in the correct way, but obviously because I'm filming it, that's going to be a bit of a bonus for me. So obviously while that's draining out, what I'm going to set about doing is disconnecting all the loom. Starting with, I'll disconnect the battery obviously, which I should have done that to begin with, to be honest. So I'll disconnect the battery, and then I'll start taking the battery tray out, and I'll start taking the scuttle panel out. So obviously I like to take the wipers off, take the scuttle panel out, and then I'll start removing the engine loom that runs down this panel behind the battery. I don't even know if you can see that, but if you've got a Mark IV, you'll know what I'm on about. So yeah, what I like to do is remove all that, then I like to take out the clutch cable. Well, not take it out, but disconnect it and let the fluid drain out of that as well. Undo all the earth points, and yeah, just everything that I know that's connected in the engine. Yeah, and then probably as well, I'll take off the cable shifters as well off the gearbox. And then obviously this is a 4-motion R32, so I'll take off the bolts that connect the prop shaft as well while I'm underneath there. Actually no, I won't, sorry. Oh, Hugo, move. Hugo. Dog wants to play. So yeah, obviously I'll do all that anyway, and then I'll probably go to the subframe and the arms. Like I was saying before, I don't know why I'm going back on what I do. But to be fair, there isn't no order, you know, there's no like specific order that I follow. I just do what I remember and the way to get it. So yeah, I'm gonna get on with that now and sort this dog out, who's getting a bit bored. And yeah, keep watching. Right, so as you've probably seen, I have gone a completely different way to the way I said I was going to go. I kind of just went into autopilot mode. So what I've been doing is taking the coolant pipes off from the heater matrix, taking the fuel lines off, and just undoing the loom that connects the engine to the car. Obviously there's two sides to the loom. One side is your main engine harness, and then the other side goes to like your lambda sensors and stuff like that. That side of the loom you can actually leave in. Well, I can leave that in for the time being. I don't need to remove that to drop the engine. There are a few plugs on the front of the manifold that I need to undo, connecting to that side of the loom, but apart from that I can just leave that side in. So yeah, I'm quite happy with what I've done. First impressions, it seems to be built quite well. I like the way the welding's been done on the pipe work. Plenty of cable ties, as you probably saw me snipping them off. Yeah, I think it's been built quite well. I don't know if it's like a bolt-on kit and all, it comes with all that, but like I said, first impressions of it being put together, it looks really well put together. I might have to use that slam panel for mine because it looks like it's been chipped away at for the front mount intercooler to fit. The front mount intercooler seems quite small, and I don't like the way the pipe work's done, because on the original bumper it'd been trimmed away, whereas on my R32 build, turbo build, sorry, the intercooler's been done so the front bumper doesn't need trimming at all, giving it a bit more of a sleeper look. And if you saw that red R32 turbo I had the two pipes coming out of the front bumper, really didn't like that. So I'm hoping to do that with this one as well. Yeah, so what I'll probably do now is just carry on disconnecting stuff really. This isn't really like a how-to, this is just me showing you how I do it. So yeah, I'm going to carry on with that, and I'll probably stop a little bit way through again and give you a little bit of an update onto what I'm going to do. I'm probably not going to get the engine out today, because time's getting better with me and I've got a few things to do. So I'll probably just get it all ready to disconnect, and then tomorrow I can literally just drop it, take a look around, and then look at fitting it to the other car. So yeah.
Westy, is that you, yeah?
Right, so I've pretty much done what I was talking about. If you're wondering why I got the grinder out, it's because I cut the, can't even think what they're called, drop links, because it was just quicker. And you should replace stuff like that anyway when you're putting it back in. So yeah, where I'm at now is, what I would need to do is undo the decat from the downpipes, undo a few more things in the engine bay, just like move the water bottle, make sure the wires are clear, and then it's pretty much ready to drop. I'm probably not going to do that today. What I need to do is have a tidy up, because like I said, I have got something on today. So I'm hoping I'll be able to either come back down later tonight, or can't do tomorrow, but sometime over the weekend I'm hoping to come down, get it dropped. Whether I'll try and film it, but if not, it might just be a case of next time it'll be me putting it into the other car. But if you enjoyed what you see today, please hit subscribe, like, and yeah, if I've missed anything, if you've got any advice for me moving forward, you think I've missed something, I could have done something quicker, let me know in the comments. And if it's helped you in any way, or you just enjoyed it, like I said, drop a comment, like, subscribe, you know, all of that usual stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with where I've got to. It's only been a couple of hours, and like I said, probably got another 20 minutes, if that, on it, and I'll be able to drop that and hopefully get it into the R32 red and be up and running in no time soon. But until next time, thank you for watching, and yeah, see you all next time.